All right, gang. So coach need a little bit more time to think it through. So Rousey isn't fighting McGregor. She needs McGregor to coach her up on the boxing, right? Obviously, nobody could do a better job than McGregor. He's certainly known for his hands. Rousey's biggest problem is her footwork. If McGregor just teaches her, a few basics, she could definitely be a bigger threat. She was never a terrible striker. Like, it's not like, you look at her and you're like blown away, but it's women's MMA, right? Like, first of all, it's not boxing, it's MMA, and then it's women's MMA. As far as female fighters go, her boxing is actually above average. It's not incredible, but, you know, like obviously like Holly Holm would be like around elite, with like Shevchenko. They'd be on like the elite end of striking. And she's just like, Rousey's like a solid one letter grade down from that. Right? Like if they're S tier, Rousey's like a B plus, something like that, right? She's not a D or completely worthless like a Ben Askren or some of the people that we've seen in women's MMA. She has power. She can finish you. She's, first of all, she's like a Brock Lesnar type to where she just swarms you. You know what I mean? So if you get anywhere near her, she's just going to be all over you. Her dirty boxing is like borderline, I don't want to say elite, but it's certainly a strength. Like we're talking like Muay Thai, her elbows and knees, that sort of stuff. People remember for being such a poor striker because of how she ended her career when she got that psychopath coach who got her to change everything and told her that like boxing was her strength. Like it was never her strength, right? It was there to set up other stuff, but she does have some boxing skills that could certainly use a lot of work. But this is a gold medal judo winner. You know what I mean? Like she's the best in the world at ripping people's arms off. But we've seen fights where she doesn't even need that. But as far as like, you combine her judo game with even a little bit of McGregor's, you can't really teach her like the instincts, right? But you just get her in good habits, right? Get her doing the right thing the majority of the time, and stuff will work out because she's like generally bigger. Only like a Nunes or something really is physically imposing on her. She's typically the more physically dominant of the two. They want to act like women's MMA has completely passed her by. That's a great narrative. She's a perfect comeback story. They could have milked her so much more than they did. They gave her like a shitty WWE run. Like she's basically just been forgotten, right? She's that boogeyman, but like, they want to act like she's not even a GOAT. She's the reason women's MMA exists. Dana White said forever he wasn't going to do women's fighting, right? So she's the reason anybody even cares about any of these other names like Rousey or Shevchenko or anybody you can name, Nunes. So she's definitely going to get the Holm fight back. She's going to beat the shit out of Holly Holm. Holm is running her mouth like a moron, okay? And then she's going to get beat up pretty good by Nunes and find a way to armbar her or something. She's going to pull a Rocky in that one, right? That's going to be the one like you really remember her for as far as like her women's career. But, so McGregor, right on cue, says he's got his next opponent. Rousey is on like a 10-year hiatus. Coach just started talking, not quite a year ago, I'd say, saying like, I'll bet Rousey's coming back, because we've got Tyson, etc. Right? So, they're saying shocks the world. Holm, like I said, talking shit, said she had her swinging at air. Rousey's got a book out, coach is reading it. McGregor and says him and Rousey are the face of the promotion. They're basically the biggest draws in the history of little guys, in UFC, post like Hoist Gracie. And then, so my issue, the first thing, it was really tough picturing Rousey knocking out McGregor, but it was like, well, he would just have to be like not taking her seriously at all. Like he kind of just gives her a free shot and she somehow just like crushed it. But it's so hard to think, first of all, that would happen, right? Her hitting that target. He's got such great head movement, etc. He's known for his boxing. He is willing to exchange early. We've seen with Aldo, he's got the record for fastest MMA knockout. But it's still definitely not the ideal person you would want for Rousey to have to go against him. He could literally just go on his bike and run around for 8 seconds and she wouldn't be able to catch him, So it's really hard to see, even if she did knock him out, that he wouldn't do like some damage, and that just makes it a bad fight because nobody wants to see the girl get hit by the guy, right? We need this to be bang, bang, over, and it was just like a little bit too messy, so we need someone else, but we know McGregor's involved, and he's got, first of all, the perfect skills. Like I said, he can teach Rousey. He's laughed at her. The reason I thought maybe their fight, well, he laughed at her boxing, right? Well, he had a reason to laugh at her boxing. She was looking like a fool, right? So I give him a pass there. He does have some heel stuff. He punched the old guy, right? But it's still a guy. You know what I mean? Like McGregor, most of McGregor is character, and he'll like tell you that in a way. You know what I mean? So, like, to think he'd actually sink to the heel of fighting a woman, it's just so out of it. It's not incredibly out of character for McGregor, but he's still ultimately a face, right? He does heel shit all the time, but he's just an outrageous face, ultimately, right? Like he's a hero story. He's an inspiration. People look up to McGregor. People from all walks of life, they dig McGregor. He moves the needle. He sells shit. So he's good for MMA. They're not going to have him go out, get knocked out to Ronda Rousey. But he is the perfect guy to have there for when she does knock out a guy, to come and screaming, "You got knocked out by a fucking girl! You got knocked out by a fucking girl, mate! You're a clown," right? So he's the exact type of loudmouth you'd want coming in, and coach zeroed in. We know exactly who it's gonna be. Sean fucking Strickland, popping off 7 hours ago. No one likes women's MMA. Oh, is that true, Sean? Okay, so apparently, as far as like fastest knockouts ever, Tyson's with the 8 seconds. They did a little promo. Rousey's got the fastest women's knockout ever. And then McGregor, with the fastest men's MMA. So they did a little promo together, just show you Rousey can hurt you if she connects. Sean going against Anthony. Thought that was really interesting. It's going to be hard to go against Anthony Hernandez here. Like, if we got Strickland fighting Rousey, it kind of seems like it would be from a downward spiral, but does she knock him out when he's, like, on top? But, like, why would he take that? It's kind of hard to figure out here. So, like, I mostly want to stay away from this fight. We do, like, at least if he's going against an Anthony has a chance. Hernandez, there's a reason to believe this guy would want to beat up Neo-Nazi Sean Strickland. No joke, this dude's a Neo-Nazi. This is perfect. Okay, so I'm thinking Hernandez takes care of him. He's 15-2. So, I don't go off records. But, it just feels like this could be the start of his downfall. If he's like I said, maybe he does keep. I don't see how the fight gets made if Strickland keeps winning. So I'm gonna go with Hernandez there, but it's tough. Like, I'm still thinking that one through, right? But as far as Strickland's role, with the Trump stuff, he's the perfect type of guy to be under everybody's skin. But, like, the more he wins, the more he can talk. So, we don't know exactly how quickly the Rousey thing's going down. I think have him win, and then somehow the Rousey fight, there's just, like, so much money. Because she's got to win. She's got a lot of unfinished business. So this definitely isn't going down like bang, bang. She's got to take care of home. She's got to take care of Nunes. She's certainly going to fight the other newcomers, like, in her world. Shevchenko, probably Rose. There's another girl I can't think of that's like a one-trick pony with the judo. She's going to expose her probably first. That's going to be like her first real fight back. Because this one, it's seen as like but they're both kind of over their hill with this Gina girl or whatever. And, like I said, I think he goes the distance, but, let's see. So, he's got some crazy story. He had some, it's basically like American History X. So, also, McGregor kind of sticks away from the political statements. This guy popping off is pretty perfect. Oh, journalist Alexander, we like that. So, is there anything else I really want to add here? Oh, yeah, so Strickland says he wants to kill an opponent in the octagon. So he's like a big-time bully. He enjoys hurting people. He taunts people. He's going to be the exact type of person that people are going to be terrified for poor little Ronda. She's out of her mind for getting in the ring with this guy. But really, on paper, like I said, McGregor would be much tougher, although he's pretty terrible on the ground. I think Rousey would take too much punishment trying to get him there. He's got fast hands. He can hurt you bad with just a couple shots. It's really not the best matchup. Someone like Sean, that's more of a statue, right? And is going to completely underestimate you. Like, he's got the built-in excuse, right? He underestimated her. Everybody's going to know that, right? So, and she just clocks him right away. He goes face down. It's fucking beautiful. You watch it 100 billion times. It's the biggest clip in the history of Twitter, so... so there you go. Neo-Nazi. Everybody's dumping on Rousey, saying she's delusional, saying, she's overrated. Everything kind of is self-inflicted. Like I said, a lot of it's like her trainer and stuff. But basically, she's always pissed off, which is what you want in a fighter. She gets to a dark place in a hurry. We like that. She technically knows how to end the fight, no questions asked, quicker than anybody, right? And she can get like everybody remembers the armbar, but it's not like she wasn't always doing it Gracie style, where it's like you saw it coming. Like, she could have beat you other ways. That's just the way she liked to do it, right? So it's like she would have you mounted in full mount and could have rained down elbows or whatever. It's just like, you know what? Fine. I'm just going to rip your arm off because that's what I'm good at doing, right? So, here's Rousey here saying she appreciates McGregor's support a while back with the